Hey YouTube. Alright, so I just wanted to make a quick video in response to a new thing that I've been seeing the Democrats doing. And this is related to the Trump tax plan and the tax cuts that the GOP just passed. Sorry if it sounds a little bit weird for you. I'm recovering from a cold, so my voice sounds a little bit funny. Anyway, so what you'll notice is that there's been a new trend among Democrats where they've basically broken into three camps, I would say. You have the super corporate Democrats who are completely silent about the tax plan, probably because they know that they benefit from it personally. If you look at the top three Democrats, they're all worth millions of dollars. I mean, in excess of over $100 million each. So that's not surprising. The second camp of Democrats you have are the people who are completely outraged by this, Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. What are you doing to oppose it? Not a damn thing. Okay. And the third camp of Democrats that we have related to this tax plan are the people who are trying to be nuanced. And unfortunately, it seems like Bernie Sanders is also falling into this trap. Now, don't take this out of context. He's still fighting for the right things, and if you listen to his arguments on the tax plan, they're all very, very, very reasonable, But specifically what I'm talking about is this concept that the Democrats have started to adapt of saying, well, the tax cuts for the rich, everybody agrees should not be happening. The tax loophole for Wall Street, we need to get rid of those, etc., yada, yada, yada. But they'll also go ahead and make the argument that, but we do agree that the middle class should get a tax cut. This is a mistake and a flawed argument. And the reason why this is a mistake is you have to look at the bigger picture when it comes on to messaging. And you cannot cede any ground to conservative ideology. If you say to people, hey, tax cuts are bad, people can understand that. That's a very simple, easy thing to push. And if you explain to them that there's no such thing as a tax cut because that's mathematically impossible, what it is a tax shift, meaning if you have one group that pays less, then the burden shifts to somebody else. See, a message like that is easy to communicate to people. When you start trying to be nuanced and saying, oh, well, the middle class deserves a tax cut, what you're essentially doing is you're agreeing to the Republicans' failed and bullshit ideology that tax cuts stimulate and grow the economy, which we all know is complete crap. It does not do any of that. Whenever you reduce taxes on the rich, what happens is people pocket the money. Whenever you reduce taxes on the middle class or on the poor, it doesn't have much an effect on the economy, because if you look at the percentage and the money that they're taking in and what they're being taxed on, let's look at the poor people, for instance. Okay, you give a guy an extra $100 or extra $200 or extra $300. That doesn't mean shit. Or you give the middle class an extra $2,000. Okay, yeah, granted that's a big block of money, but it's not enough to make a difference to your life, So I think it's a mistake for Democrats to fall into this trap of ceding ground to Republicans, because the bigger damage that it does is that it gives credibility to their argument, and it makes them say, okay, well, some tax cuts are good. And it's not very hard for conservatives to then push that leap further to say, well, if you agree that tax cuts for the middle class are good, then if you give tax cuts to the rich, then obviously that will have an even bigger effect. So you essentially are surrendering your argument. Does that make sense? So I think the right approach for Democrats is, instead of trying to go down this allowing tax cuts path is to focus on rebranding tax cuts as what they actually are, as tax shifts. And explain to people that, look, once you cut taxes on the upper class, you're asking every man, woman, and child to contribute more into the system. Now, I know you'll have some people who will argue that, oh, well, you don't have to collect taxes at all, that government can just print the money that they want. Well, yes, that's true. But what happens, as the way how I understand it, is when you increase inflation like that to cover the country's debt, you actually reduce the purchasing power of everybody in the country. So it creates an even worse situation for everybody. So printing money is not the ideal solution to solving the problem. The most ideal solution is to have a balanced budget each year. So and I think that what Democrats need to do is to focus on the progressive policies, the Keynesian economics that has been proven to work. I mean, it literally got us out the Great Depression. And to focus on policies we know that work, that instead of giving a tax cut to Lockheed Martin or GE, instead take that money that you'd use to pay for the tax cut and instead give free education to people, give healthcare to people, take the burden off of companies to offer insurance to their employees, and instead move everybody into a Medicare for all type system. And you can still have private insurance in that kind of system. You can do Medicare for all as your basic coverage. And if you want supplemental insurance on top of that, then you can go to the private market. You see, I think that if you did these policies, this would have a much bigger effect on improving the strength of the economy. And Democrats should be making this case. They should not, and I repeat, they should not be going down this rabbit hole of saying, well, the tax cuts for the rich are bad, but the tax cuts for the middle class, we like those, want to keep those. No, don't go down that path. It's a losing path. And that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what you all think and tell me if I'm absolutely crazy and don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Thank you, and Happy New Year when it comes. Peace.